This time on episode 231 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. We discuss Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., all the comforts of home, Marvel News Roundup, and your feedback.
I'm Cody from Game Life Balance US, a proud member of the Gonna Geek Network, just like the one you're listening to now. The opinions expressed are those of each individual. Check out all the other geeky podcasts at GonnaGeekNetwork.com and get ready because geekiness begins in 3, 2, 1.
You have been granted clearance by Director Phil Coulson. Stand by for S.H.I.E.L.D. debriefing. All information to be discussed here is classified and may only be discussed among agents granted clearance by the S.H.I.E.L.D. Director.
Now it's time for your scheduled debriefing. I'm Director SP.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
Welcome to Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. It's a Marvel Comic Universe fan show. This show is recorded on Sunday, March 4th, 2018, live from the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. studios and broadcast worldwide, perhaps galactic-wide, via www.geeks.live. Ladies, happy National Grammar Day!
Hey, SP, how do you spell grammar?
Grammer.
Nice try. Solid effort.
For those at home, I do in fact know how to spell grammar. That was just a little in-joke, which the ladies immediately caught me on in pre-show, even though I wanted to wait till now. So yes, I do know that they read the show notes before we go live.
Sometimes.
Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a fan-based podcast on the ABC television show Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, Legion on FX, possibly The Gifted on Fox, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the Marvel Comic Universe in general.
Because of... Wait, Zima's a thing again?
If you'd like to talk to us about Zima, you can visit our website, legendsofshield.com.
You can call and leave us a voicemail while drunk on Zima at 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
You can visit our Facebook page, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. Podcast.
You can hit us up on Twitter at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And our YouTube is www.youtube.com/GonnaGeek.
And remember, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. is a proud member of the GonnaGeek.com network.
We have an exciting show today, and I'm going to need a lot of therapy, but we'll get to that in a second. First of all, want to pay homage to our agent Lauren. She decided to take a personal day this weekend. I guess you're allowed to, especially if you don't get paid for it. I don't know.
As discussed at the beginning of the podcast.
So we wish Lauren well. She should be back next week, but you never know. In the Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s lives, we just never know what's going to go on week to week. And I know she'll have a lot to say about this episode, but I don't know if she's seen it yet or not. So keep it quiet. Don't spoil her until it happens. We have warned her that it's going to be a tough one, but she'll be vocal about it next week. All right. With that, we are just going to get right on into the episode. This episode is titled All the Comforts of Home. Now, Haley, what's up with that title?
Well, I assume the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. are like me, and after they travel a lot, they tend to get sick. So when they get home, they just want to lay in bed and eat some warm soup and drink some nice hot tea and cuddle with a kitty. And that's what happened in this episode, is they got all those comforts of home on when they returned.
Don't remember seeing any kitties, but I could be mistaken about that. I don't know. Michelle, what do you think? You think Haley's right?
Well, they do come back and they do get to see the sky again and breathe some fresh air, and there's clouds and a bird and trouble. And when you're a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, trouble is something that happens at home.
I believe Max said it best, and we're back. Indeed. So, Haley, now that you've completely ruined the title, we're going to give you a second chance, and you're going to discuss the episode's director.
Well, this episode was directed by Kate Woods. She's done a lot of directing, starting as a second unit director in 1984 with a TV show called Sweet and Sour I've never heard of it. I have no intention of learning any more about it. But some of the other things that she's done, she's an episode of Farscape. She did 8 episodes of Bones, 1 of Revenge, 5 of Castle, a couple episodes of Person of Interest, an episode of Blind Spot, an episode of The Magicians, 1 episode of Once Upon a Time, and this is her 3rd episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
This is our 3rd time covering Kate Woods on this podcast. The first episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was in 2015, and the second one was in 2016. So 2 consecutive seasons, and then All the Comforts of Home. So she's been around 1 episode every year. Michelle, who wrote this episode?
This was written by Drew Z. Greenberg, who has 12 total writing credits, including 1 Firefly, 6 Buffy the Vampire Slayer, 3 Smallville, 2 Dexter, 5 The Clone Wars, Star Wars The Clone Wars, 1 Caprica, 8 Warehouse 13, 6 episodes of Arrow, crossing the streams a little bit, and 9 Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Also produced all new 3s, A Crowd, Dexter, Caprica, Warehouse 13, Arrow, Year 1, Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So, wow.
Indeed, Drew Z. Greenberg has been around for a while. We've been discussing him since 2013. And whenever I see him, I don't know which series he's been on, but the Arrow stuff was all the early stuff. And then he kind of switched over to Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. since then. So more of a Marvel guy now than a DC guy. By the way, this episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was broadcast on Friday, March 2nd, 2018 to a live rating of 1.91. That's down, I will say, significantly, giving the previous ratings from 2.22 4 weeks ago. Yes, this was a 4-week hiatus. Thank you, Olympics. With the episode Past Life. Now, the season started off with orientation to a rating of 2.54 and then dipped a little, but then went back up on January 5th to a live rating of 2.49, so very close to the season premiere number. And remember, the season premiere was late. It was the 1st of December because we had that, and I even forgot about it until I'm just looking at it right now, Inhumans from September till November. We got rid of that, and we're back with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And we thought the ratings would continue to go up. And I think that actually they were kind of on the way up, but then we have had this 4-week hiatus and it just destroyed any momentum that they had. Plus you have spring break in the way now. So I'm just hoping that this continues to go up because this is the best episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or best season of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. that we've had since the beginning, in my opinion. So hopefully we'll get that. All right.
I mean, we'd been talking for a while about like what we thought was going to happen and how they were going to run this. I think at this point, they're probably just going to be running well into summer. I know CW is kind of doing that with the way they're airing Supergirl and Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. They just are planning to run into, June or whatever with new episodes. So I think that's probably what's going to happen with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
And I always have to shake my head about that a little bit because I do think the television seasons are more closely aligned to school seasons. And generally, it's September through May. It's not all the case true, but generally it is September through May. And I think once you get into the graduation season in late May and the wedding season in June, that you have a lot of people that are just not going to watch it live. Now, they might be watching it after the fact. And if you do have cable, Agents of ABC anyway, will let you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like the next day. Also, I believe if you have a Hulu subscription or something like that, you can get it the next day. But for the large part, if you're just trying to get it free, you're not going to get it until like a week later. So I don't know how that all is accounted. I know we've discussed this over on Starling Tribune with Arrow, and we suspect that between the CW app and everything later, that the live ratings go up at least 50%, if not 100%. And that's a significant piece of change in this day and age. Also, by the way, in the ABC streaming app, when you watch it there, you do get the same commercials that were in broadcast. How do I know this? Because I watched it both ways before we podcasted. I watched it on my DVR, and then I came up here and I watched it on my computer through the app. Same commercials. So I don't know.
I did know, so I use PlayStation Vue to watch TV, and if you wait more than 4 weeks, instead of getting a DVR recording, you get an on-demand recording. And it has the same amount of commercials as the DVR recording would. You just can't fast forward through them anymore. So they're still getting plenty of commercial ad revenue from these different streaming sources.
I gotta say, I'm getting into that Pepsi ad. I saw it in the Super Bowl, and I've seen it a couple of times. They've shaped it up a little bit, but I don't know. Maybe it's the DeLorean that gets me. I don't know, but I'm enjoying the Pepsi ad. This podcast is not sponsored by Pepsi in any means, shape,
I
or
say as
form.
I drink my Cherry Coke Zero.
All right, let's get into the episode highlights. The reason that I need therapy this week, Michelle, I'm going to give this over to you because you're the one that warned everybody.
Yeah, near the end of the episode, when the team is in St. Louis trying to figure out what's going on with this beacon, Ruby and her robots come in and there's a fight. And Yo-Yo is doing her thing and she's trying to save Mac. And during this, who we find out later, Ruby takes her little Xena warrior princess thing. Yeah. And cuts off both of Yo-Yo's arms. Like right above the elbow.
I clinched, I shut my eyes, and I pressed pause because I'm like, I had to wait a little bit. That was intense. That was shocking to me that would happen, even though the producers gave us the warning the previous week with Double Yo-Yo. I had completely put that aside, thinking that's going to be way in the future. We're not going to have to worry about that.
Or it's never going to happen. Like they're going to avert it somehow.
So now let's think back to an earlier flashback when they're in the future. Didn't Yo-Yo inside the lighthouse? Didn't she have both arms?
Did she have gloves on though? Because I'm thinking she gets robot arms.
Could be.
I mean, Coulson's got a robot hand.
Yeah, so that's what I think too, that she gets replacement arms. And what's interesting, I watched this episode 3 times. And in the scene with her and Mac earlier, where they're joking about crushing rocks, Yo-Yo, she's like rubbing her hands and like the way she's just like looking at her hands and stuff, it's very subtle. But it's like, oh my gosh, there's foreshadowing. It was very subtle. I didn't catch it till like the third time I watched it.
This is one of the few ones. Yeah, I don't all the time get to watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. multiple times before we podcast on it on Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. This was one of the times that I wanted to, after I saw it the first time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I need to watch this the second time because of that traumatic event. And I did. I watched it twice. So you watched it 3 times. I watched it twice. Haley, did you just get to see it the once?
Yeah, I watched it one time right before we recorded.
Oh, so this is all fresh to you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Just happened, guys. It's pretty rough.
Oh, man. Now, Michelle, how did your mom take it?
Like her face just went white and her mouth was open and she looked at me and she went, oh, what? What?
Was I the only one shouting the word tourniquet at the TV?
Probably.
Words escaped me at that point. Like I said, I pressed pause because I
Like
needed.
They wrapped her in a blanket. She's gonna bleed out, dudes. Like, you've all got belts. Like, make this happen. Lauren was probably yelling tourniquet at the TV, or she will be once she finally gets to watching this.
And then we had May flying the bus. We know it's Zephyr 1, but she's flying the bus back to the lighthouse. You know she's firewalling it. You know it's just coming apart at the seams, trying to get it back to some medical care because they can't take her to a hospital because they're most wanted. So even May and her reaction, this is May, who has control over just about anything, always is taking action to do something, and even she is just floored by what happened.
Yeah, especially since Yo-Yo was mid-move. It's not like Yo-Yo was standing still. She was, using her power, and Ruby was still able to see her, I guess.
Also, they were very intentionally having her move the way Sonara moves, like the way she was holding her head and the way she was walking, all of that very much mimicking Sonara's motions.
I did not catch that. Sonara was also mentioned, but earlier in the episode, which we haven't gotten to it yet, when Daisy was trying to free Deke from jail, she named herself as Sonara. So Sonara gets a couple of shout outs in this
Puerto Rican.
episode. Right.
Not Smith.
So I'm wondering how, I hate to bring this up, but I don't understand how it happened. How did Ruby take Yo-Yo's arms off? Because we didn't actually see anything there.
Magic.
Well, did she throw the Tron disc and that's what happened? Or did she come by?
No, she threw it. She threw it and then it came back because she catches it.
So it was in air. So Yo-Yo sacrificed her arms to save Mac is what happened.
Yo-Yo was on the way to try to save Mac. Ruby, as Yo-Yo is on her way, throws the Xena disc and
chakram.
Then and Yo-Yo it stopped and then Ruby catches the thing in.
Okay.
And then Mac gets all angry and rage fights.
Yeah.
His way to Yo-Yo.
This is more traumatic to me than the whole Coulson hand thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's because both arms, maybe because Yo-Yo, I don't know. But it's just definitely more traumatic to me. This is big stuff. I need a moment.
Especially since I thought her arms were taken off by the Kree. Because when we see her in the future, she talks about them taking her blood and killing her and bringing her back. I thought the arms were a torture that happens to her after the Kree arrive.
Yeah, I thought that originally too.
So this is one of the reasons why it surprised me that it was an actual injury, not a torture by the Kree.
Yeah, I very much was led to believe that it was part of them torturing her over an extended period of time. You know, they brought her back and they tortured her and, you know, they took an arm and all that. But probably now, knowing what we know now, she had no arms for a very long time. She had robot arms and they took those away from her.
Okay. I need a little bit more happy thoughts right now. So we're going to move on to what we had previously talked about, which was Deke and Daisy. Deke, who we all just assumed was dead, all of a sudden shows up in town square, not in the lighthouse, probably because that's where his body was after the explosion was, in proximity to the lighthouse. I don't know. Haley, what does the science person of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. think about that?
Oh, well, he wasn't in the same place they were in the lighthouse. So probably he is, you know, whatever relative distance away from the lighthouse that he was when he was doing whatever he was doing in, you know, the bigger lighthouse that is, you know, the last arc of humanity in the future. So that's why he ended up where he is now.
Just lucky that it wasn't inside what is currently Earth.
not in the middle of that tree, instead next to the tree.
And then, of course, he becomes a tree hugger.
Yep.
As you do.
It's a very pretty tree.
The best tree ever.
And then he goes into a bar. And the bar, if I'm not mistaken, is the same bar from his version of the framework.
Yeah, he says he got it close.
Huh.
But he did not get the taste of beer right.
Does not taste the way it looks. So if you're looking at beer, what do you think it tastes like? Some sort of sweet caramel drink?
Yes.
That's reasonable.
I always forget what beer tastes like until I drink it again. I'm like, man, I wish this tastes better, which is why I drink cider.
I thought you drank rum.
Well, I do drink a lot of rum.
Where did all the rum go? Haley's place.
In my belly.
And Daisy gets Deke out. You know, they have the same. Did you guys notice the similarity as Daisy is getting Deke out of trouble? That she is leading Deke on in the questions, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the same way Deke did to her back in the lighthouse in the future."
Yeah, I thought that was a really good parallel. especially when she's looking at him. It's like, now what did we say about wandering off? He was like, oh, don't wander off.
Totally something that somebody in his purported condition would probably need some prompting on. So it didn't look too weird. However, they were made. The sheriff's deputy definitely figured out who they were and tipped off the proper authorities. And that was kind of weird because he delayed them, yet nothing happened. So
because that was a tease. Like they were trying to make you think that was the one they were holding up. They were holding up Daisy because it was the cops, and it wasn't. Like he just really did have paperwork they had to fill out.
Wow.
Whereas really it was Vasquez? Piper. I always want. She makes me think of Vasquez from Aliens. It was Piper who was holding up the S.H.I.E.L.D. agents there.
Totally did not catch that both ways. Again, that's why I need some therapy here. Yep. Thank you, girls.
Also, so they sent up the Kree signal as a trap for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they really were sending up a Kree signal. So maybe that's why the Kree show up, is because of this trap that was supposedly laid for the agents.
It's a trap.
It's a tarp.
We get another sentient Chromicon too. And between the two, Noah, he's pretty obsessive compulsive, I would say. I see you're typing on my keyboard, even though I did not give you permission to type on my keyboard, or even though you did not ask, or whatever he said. But he does end up saving Daisy and Fitz in the end.
We don't know that he saved them. Maybe they all died.
Would definitely shorten the season and the series, since we're probably coming to an end anyway. We'll get to that in the news.
Just FYI, if they killed Fitz and Daisy, I might quit watching.
I doubt they killed Fitz and Daisy.
I don't think they killed Fitz and Daisy.
The question is if Noah will survive.
It's okay if they killed Fitz as long as we get Skimmins.
Sure. But that beacon is in the room with the monoliths, and it goes off. So just how safe and secure are those cages the monoliths are in? Because it's not just the time travel one. There's two others there as well.
So what's his name? I don't remember his name. He ran up to it. Noah. I kind of think like maybe he's going to like absorb the energy of that blast or something. Because otherwise, why did he run up to it? Because he wasn't going to get close enough to actually, do the dude diving on the grenade thing with it. So I think maybe what he's going to do is absorb that blast. But I don't know for sure.
His body ends up getting obliterated, and they have their Doctor Who version of handles.
Head in a jar.
A little Futurama there, too.
They'll put him on the shelf next to the Russian.
Yeah. Ivan is still a thing.
Okay, so 3 monoliths, right? The one is the one that sent them to the future. Was the other one the one that sent Simmons to the other planet?
Maveth, yeah.
I think so.
I don't know what the other one was.
I thought that was the one on the left. And then we've got a third monolith that we don't know what that one does.
Could be a Infinity War tie-in. I don't know.
So we've had space. We've had time. Would the other one be like a parallel dimension?
Earth 616, right? And we're in what, 1690? Is that where we're at right now, or 1604 or something like that? Yeah, we discussed it before. Yeah.
Have we talked about Earth numbers since Marvel rebooted the timeline like 7 times since we started this podcast?
We actually did, like, within the season. I think in Inhumans, I believe, Michelle, you brought it up, but I'm not going to hold anybody to that. I know that the comics are 616 or supposedly, and then this is like 16 something or 13 or 12. I don't know. It's a different universe in the Marvel Cinematic Universe than the comic book universe, which could have changed, as Haley mentioned several times now, since we're headed for yet another reboot. SP angry. All right. So General Hale, and we had this discussion way back the last time we saw General Hale. I just want to point out, I kept meaning to bring it up. I watched that episode over and over again. She is a brigadier general, a 1-star general, a Talbot replacement. At least that's who she purports to be. Now, whether she's a Kree or some other shapeshifter, we don't know, but General Hale's back. She's got this daughter, and I'll put daughter in air quotes, called Ruby, who is incredibly trained and is guarded in a safe, basically. And that's how she lives her life. And she apparently has to go to school. That's a little weird. I don't know what's going on there.
Well, she says class. Class could mean battle training.
Yeah, that's what I got from it. Like the first time she says, you missed class, you're led to believe it's just like, oh, she's a teenager who's skipping school. But the second time, it's like you're getting like assassin training or whatever, and that's the class you skipped
because she was reckless and a disappointment.
Yep.
Well, I hope she doesn't skip class the day they teach monolith stuff, because that's coming back. We know that. We just discussed that. We talked about Piper being back. Piper, of course, being the dual agent over in the DEA, over in Supergirl, and here in Marvel.
Also, she was in an episode of Walking Dead. A couple episodes.
Everybody dies in The Walking Dead. So I know if you say a couple, that's probably all there was. Anyway, so she's there. I have labeled her a traitor. And I have labeled her a traitor because when the agents come in, she doesn't tip them off on what's happening. She keeps maintaining the lie until it's way too late. And she is directly the cause of what happens to Yo-Yo. So I will say, even though she's sided with S.H.I.E.L.D. again, she is a traitor. I get why she did it. She did it because she thought the rest of the crew was dead and she was just trying to survive. But then once the crew materialized, you got to shift over and you, oh my gosh, I didn't think you guys were still around and all that stuff. So I don't know, ladies, do you agree with me or disagree?
I don't think she's a traitor.
I totally think she's a traitor.
No, she thought that all that was going to happen is they were going to be brought in for questioning, and she didn't even know that was ever something that was going to happen. Like, for all she knew, they were all dead and gone and never coming back.
But once they showed back up, she should have had her trust in them and said, this is what's going on.
Well, she made a deal with someone that she thought she could trust. And she really thought they were just going to be taken in. She didn't want them to run and have to feel like they have to keep running. I think she was put in a difficult position.
I don't disagree. I think she made the right choice to survive up until that point. But once she saw the team, obviously not dead, then she should have come clean and said, this is a trap. We need to get you out of here, and go on from there.
Yeah, thinking about it, because when I watched it the third time, she is telling the story about, oh, I followed your family. Don't worry, I was stealth. I was finding other S.H.I.E.L.D. agents. I was really looking for you guys. She does craft this entire story, and she keeps saying that she doesn't do science. She just follows orders. But she did make the right choice in the end.
In the end, but again, the actions led to Yo-Yo losing her arms and the team possibly getting trapped and not being able to.
I don't think you can put that on her. Like, she didn't know that was going to happen.
No, she didn't.
She's a soldier. She was following orders from the person in charge. A brigadier general gave her the order, bring them in. They're going to be brought in safely, and I just need to talk to them. But with the information she had available, that was the choice that she made.
She's been involved in government conspiracies already. She's seen what happened all the way from Winter Soldier on. So I can't really agree to that.
She thought it was somebody that she could trust. Like, she knows there are people that she can't trust in the government. She thought this general was one of the people that she could trust.
She should know better. Being a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent brought up to the big leagues, she should have known better. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think you can put that on her. Like, she didn't see that general execute two of her subordinates. We, as the audience, did see that. But she has had experience with this general for what has to have been months at this point.
We don't know how much time has expired either. That's an interesting point. But not to derail you of your thought. Basically, we're not going to agree here, and I'm going to
Okay.
leave it to the listener. Listener, do you think that Agent Piper has betrayed the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or do you think that she was just surviving and she was justified in what she was doing? So,
And as soon as she knew what the real situation was, she was right back on their side.
she took too long, though. That's why I'm...
No, she didn't. She like put her head out the door and then followed out with her gun and started shooting the bad dudes, robots.
She should have done that from the beginning so that they could have escaped without the robots coming in.
She didn't know that it was going to be robots that got sent in to bring them in. Well, to kill them. She thought it was just going to be, you know, a group of whatever Talbot's old dudes that are going to take them in for questioning.
Okay, again, we're not going to agree here. I'm firmly in my belief that she had been a traitor. Can traitors be rehabilitated? Probably. And in this case, very redeemable, but still, it's a devastating blow to the team.
That's okay. I kind of think she's going to be killed in a heroic hail of gunfire before the season's over.
Could be. And maybe it's going to be under the tutelage of Agent Brock Sampson.
That's all I could think when he was talking. I was like, it's Brock. Brock Sampson. That's Brock.
Patrick Warburton came on as General Rick Stoner, who's a legitimate Marvel character from the past, actually ran S.H.I.E.L.D. before Nick Fury did. And it was just awesome seeing him around. I can only imagine that we're going to see more of him. I don't know how that's going to happen, if it's going to be more recordings or what, but having Patrick Warburton as part of the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is awesome, especially with all of his acting history, both comic books and not. That's just great. And Agent Brock Sampson, by the way, for those that don't know, is a character in Venture Brothers, and he's awesome with that.
Yep.
But I have been proven wrong in that the Lighthouse was not created by the team going back in the past and creating the Lighthouse. It was actually created under General Rick Stoner as Project Reclamation, probably a part of the 1972 hydrogen wave crisis, as was mentioned in the recordings by Rick Stoner. So we'll see how that goes. By the way, Agent Coulson, Director Coulson, I don't know what to call him right now. He is still dying. And that, is it just my imagination, or is that effect on his chest getting bigger?
It's getting bigger, and he doesn't want anyone to know about it.
I think it's going to be impossible to hide starting next episode.
Which is the 100th episode, by the way.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Looks like they're bringing back all the bad guys.
So a lot of tips of the hat to the past and the fans happen in this episode. First of all, May mentioned they have a small but active fan base. I thought that was an awesome shout out to everyone that watches the show, including us. So thank you very much, writers. Thank you, Mignot. That was awesome. And then everything that they run down in the borrowed van from John Nichol. So let's run down through this. So the first one was enslaved by an alien sociopath in a dystopian future. That's a lot of words there, but true. Michelle, what do we got next?
Trapped inside a virtual reality fastest state.
Haley?
Stuck at the bottom of the ocean.
Stopping a crazy robot lady.
Falling out of a plane.
Fighting Daisy's mom.
Fighting Daisy's dad.
Dancing.
That's Mignot's response, dancing. I remember they were so psyched about in social media about that scene where they were dancing and stuff, and she just can't get over that on the screen. I don't like dancing. That's funny. Like General Rick Stoner, we were looking at John Nichol, the name John Nichol. We didn't find anything other than an Arrow comic book reference, which is not Marvel at all. So, listener, if you know who John Nichol is in relation to Marvel or the show, please let us know. We would appreciate it. Apparently, he had a van that was borrowed and hopefully returned. And then post-credit, your favorite character on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Haley, Creel. He's back.
I didn't realize he was my favorite character.
You talked a lot about him before. Maybe not favorite.
I have no memory at all of that. Okay. If you say so.
So Hale is putting together a team, Michelle, right?
Yes. And it was very much like, who does she think she is? Nick Fury? Like putting a team together has already been done.
Yeah, and I wouldn't start my team by Creel either, but obviously she is. We know that she is. Ruby asked if she was a good guy, and I don't think she is. But what do you ladies think? Do you think General Hale is a good guy?
We don't know.
I'm going to say no for the reason that she shot 2 of her agents in cold blood.
True. But it depends on... She says that she has somebody to answer to. And I wonder who that person or that entity is.
Who do you think it is?
Stanley.
So we know he likes taking credit that others should be given credit for.
So the big question is, be interesting if she was Kree and if she was answering to Kasai's his father, who wants to invade Earth and take it over.
That would be interesting. In which case, do we really need a signal?
Well, she would be prepared. It could be, I don't know, it could be one of those things. Hey, boss, I'm going to use this signal. It doesn't mean anything. It's a trap. LOL.
We're using it as a ruse for the fan base of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Yeah, I could see everybody doing that. All right. Anything else of the episode? Haley?
I don't know. Nothing I can think of right now, but I feel like I need to watch it again.
Yeah, you do feel like that after you've watched it. Michelle, anything yourself or your mom would like to say?
My mom is so engrossed in this season. She is more engrossed in this season than any other season before. She is like, what's going to happen? She looks at me because I'm a geek and she's like, what's going to happen? And I have to tell her, Mom, I don't know. And she's like, I need the next episode now, which is great.
Indeed. All right, I'm looking forward to next week, the 100th episode. It's going to be entitled The Real Deal, Season 5, Episode 12, the 100th episode. Now, it just boggles my mind. We're at episode 231 of Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. So we're doing more than 2 podcasts per episode. Now, granted, we're covering more properties than just this series, but wow, it's been a long 100 episodes. Looking forward to the excitement and celebration that they have on screen. Now,
and
Haley,
you know what this means, guys? Syndication!
Yeah, we'll be seeing it forever. Another thing that we'll see forever, I guess, if Steven keeps it up, is the GonnaGeek.com network. And there is a whole bunch of other geeky content on that network, that website. Like what, Haley?
Well, we've got the Intellectual podcast, and their most recent episode is Oscar Predictions, Part 1. Join the Intellectual podcast for the first part of their annual Oscars predictions. It's always an educational and rowdy time as David sits with his filmmaking friends to passionately debate this year's hottest films. And you can find all of that at the Intellectual podcast on GonnaGeek.com.
I haven't listened to this year's, but I have listened to it in past years, and it's just a lot of fun. These are industry insiders. They're creators, directors, writers of their own, and they're talking about what they think about who's going to win and why and that sort of thing. All have great insight. So if you're interested in the Oscars at all, even after the fact, I would go back and check these episodes out. In the meantime, we're going to get on into some news.
All right, news. Starting with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. news. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. bosses talk season 5 and possibly the series finale.
Yeah. So the creative minds behind our show are taking steps to make sure that the show ends in a satisfying manner. They're treating the season 5 finale as a possible series finale. ABC has not told them if they're being renewed or canceled yet, but they want to make sure that it's going to be rewarding. They know exactly what they're going to do and how it's going to, wrap up, this season's how it's going to wrap up. But they said it can go either way.
So the question I have for the showrunners, which is Marissa Tankeron and Whedon, Jed Whedon, is: are you going to end with Felinda on a tropical beach like Haley wants it to?
If they don't know this is the series finale, I don't know that they would do that. But we talked a little bit about ratings earlier. They do say that, so it's averaging 2.3 million viewers and 0.6 demo rating in live plus same day, but it's getting 117% bump in the demo with live plus 7 DVR playback, which is the 4th biggest increase among all of broadcast TV.
I could definitely see it, especially now that it's broadcasting on Friday night. Not everybody stays at home and watches TV Friday night, so I could definitely see that, like Saturday morning or Sunday afternoon.
Sunday morning, right before you record a podcast.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. So yeah, I could see that.
But the only show that's beating of ABC's lineup right now is Once Upon a Time, which is already canceled and is on its last season. So,
do you say it's canceled if they're ending it? Is that the proper vernacular?
It's still canceled.
No, yeah. ABC told them this is your last season,
but is that canceling it, or is that just ending?
Yeah, it's canceling it. They told them
there's different ways of canceling a show. Like, you can cancel a show and be like, "Thank you, we will no longer be airing your content," or you can cancel it and be like, "Okay, when the season ends, that's the end of it."
Okay.
But it's still canceling.
Yep.
Or you can do a timeless cancellation and be like, "Yes, we're canceling it. JK, bring it back."
When does that air?
Timeless?
March.
I think it's... when? Okay. I thought it was this summer. I don't know.
I think it's sometime I think it's March. I think.
And it's a short season too, right? It's like
right.
6
I think it's just
episodes?
like 10 episodes.
Yeah. All
right. Next up, we've got a little bit of news about Legion. Season 2 Amorphous preview released.
Yes, FX has already released a series of strange promos to hype the second season, but the latest clip is nightmare fuel. The promo starts with David looking directly into the camera and speaking, and then he morphs into other characters, including Aubrey Plaza, Shadow King, and it's like even David with the mustache and without, and it is really weird. You need to know that before you watch it, but watch it. It's really cool. And know that the show is back April 3rd.
Yeah. I'm assuming the previews are just as confusing as the first season was?
Yes. People have written it down in text and they're like, what does this mean? We don't know. Is this all David? Is he actually the destroyer of worlds, or is it just somebody else's interpretation? We don't know.
Well, we know that Quake is the destroyer of worlds, so it couldn't be David.
Who knows?
All
right. So Jessica Jones season 2, which is coming next week, guys. It's happening. It's really, really happening. But we've got an empowered featurette.
Yeah. Netflix released a featurette with the cast and crew, including Kristen Ritter and showrunner Melissa Rosenberg. They talked about how a major theme is that it's not just about superheroes, it's about regular people trying to survive in the environment, how grounded it is. It was just nice to hear from different members of the crew and cast, because it's more than just here's another promo. There's interview and insight. It's really interesting.
Looking forward to season 2 of Jessica Jones.
All right. Now a little bit of news about Black Panther, which has been a huge success for Disney. And in honor and celebration of that, Disney is donating $1 million to a youth STEM program.
Yes. Disney Company has donated $1 million to the Boys and Girls Clubs of America in celebration of Black Panther. The grant will support the expansion of Boys and Girls Clubs of America's STEM Centers of Innovation, including 12 new sites across the country. Those youth STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math programs, support the high-tech skills seen in Black Panther, exhibited most by the technologically advanced Wakanda and its chief inventor, Shuri, skills that are essential in helping youth succeed.
This is so cool that they took a key element of the movie and they actually implemented it as the surrogate for Wakanda. This is great. I mean, Disney should be doing this anyway, and probably already is, but this is great that they did it in the name of Black Panther. So good on you, Disney. Well played, and keep it going.
All right, now we've got some more movie news. Anybody who hasn't been living under a rock the last week and knows anything about what's going on in the world of Marvel knows that they just announced that they're moving up the release date of Avengers Infinity War. It was supposed to come out in May. Now they're saying it's going to be April 27th, worldwide release date. And the directors talked a little bit about why that date has been moved up.
Yeah, basically, so everybody can see it at the same time. Nobody spoils it for anybody. Nobody pirates the movie and releases it before anybody can pay to see it. I think it's a good move. It's a huge movie. And I love the Twitter exchange between Robert Downey Jr. and Marvel. It's like, hey, can we make this happen? And then they're all like, sure. And everybody's like, Tony Stark, look what Tony did.
They just got him to say that. It was awesome. Now, that is the official reason. We have speculated internally that there are additional reasons, it's kind of no duh, to get separation, especially since Black Panther was such a success and they know this is going to be big, to have a little bit of separation from their other properties like Deadpool and Solo. Yeah, remember, it's all the same company now. And everything else that's out right there. So they want to make sure that if people go back week after week to see Infinity War, that the slate is clean for them versus going to another movie. And that's what's happening with me with Black Panther, because the next time I see a movie is going to be next weekend, is going to be Ready Player One. And then there's going to be Tomb Raider. And then there's going to be yada, 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 all the way through. So to get that extra separation is going to help people like me. If I want to see it again, I will be able to versus going to see another movie. So it's just genius on their part, and they probably should have done it from the beginning.
Unfortunately, if you were doing the watch one movie a week of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and see all the movies again before Avengers Infinity War comes out, this totally threw a wrench in that plan.
I was thinking about that, but it's no big deal. You just see 2 movies a week. No big deal.
You just don't get it, Star Pie.
Seeing a movie at home is a lot easier than going out to the movie theater and seeing it.
But Black Panther probably won't be out on DVD in time anyways, so...
It's close enough in your memory. And as we discussed last week, doesn't have incredibly a lot of ties to Infinity War other than Winter Soldier. And
we don't know what ties it has to Infinity War. We haven't seen Infinity War yet.
Well, true. But in my expert opinion, being a Marvel podcaster for 5 years now, I would say if I hadn't seen Thor or if I hadn't seen Black Panther, that I'd be less worried about not seeing Black Panther than I would about not seeing Thor. Just my 2 cents, being a Marvel podcaster.
I can't wait for you to
years.
be proved completely wrong.
As normally happens, but that's my official advice right now. Take it for what it is.
So, after Infinity Wars, eventually, we're going to get Captain Marvel, and we've got a little bit of casting news about that. Gemma Chan is joining the cast as Minerva.
Yes, human star Gemma Chan is set to play Minerva. Per the comics verse, Minerva, aka Dr. Minerva, is a Kree geneticist and spy. So it looks like they're going to stick to that part of the comic book lore.
That'll be interesting considering what has happened on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and what might happen in Infinity War, which Haley has just reminded me that we don't know what happens then.
And remember, the Captain Marvel actually takes place during the 90s.
Yeah.
Before. Right. So
it's a Wonder Woman sort of time travel thing. Yeah.
No, she's Marvel's first superhero. Suck it, Tony Stark.
Fair enough.
Well, technically second, because Captain America.
Right. Captain America, fine. Whatever. First modern superhero.
Peggy Carter. So, yeah. But
I really hope we see old Peggy Carter in the Captain Marvel movie. I kind of want that really bad.
Oh, it would make so much sense.
She has popped up a couple of places in regards to Marvel recently, so I wouldn't be surprised, but we talked about how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is going to end. I'm still a little bit bitter over the way they ended Agent Carter, and I'm just hoping, and I don't think it's going to happen, but I hope they wrap that up. Don't think they will, so we'll see.
No, I don't think we're going to get any more about it, and I'm just going to be bitter about it, and it's fine.
That's fine? I don't think it's fine. I mean, you're just accepting of it.
It's fine. As in when your wife says it's fine, and it's really, really not fine.
So
Disney Marvel, it's fine. Okay.
Disney Marvel does not know that we're in a fight, but we're in a fight.
Yeah, it's a painful wound. It took a long time for the Firefly wound to heal, and now
yours healed. Tell me how.
It's still a little tender, but now there's this gaping wound of when Agent Carter was canceled.
It healed like it's not an open wound anymore. It just aches when, it's going to rain or something.
Correct. But the wound from the canceled Agent Carter, that is still very fresh and very open.
I have made life decisions because of what partially because of what happened with Firefly. I will not watch a new series on Fox until it's proven to be three seasons in. And of course, The Gifted has been the sole exception to that, but I will not pick up another Fox series until it's had 3 years in because of issues like Firefly. So there you go, Fox. You've lost a viewer because of it.
Way to go, Fox.
So not only are we in a feud with Disney and Marvel, but we're in a feud with Fox too.
Who is now Disney and Marvel.
Well, not yet. They're still doing the paperwork.
So Fox, this is me saying it's fine.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
All right, we're going to get on to some feedback.
Well, Lauren was out, so I had the privilege to live tweet this episode, and I wanted to thank everybody for interacting with me, including Adonna Girl. She posed a very interesting question. Deke has never seen the real sunlight, right? Shouldn't he be blinded by the brightness of the world? I replied, good question. He did spacewalk, so he would have been exposed to radiation, and they didn't live in the dark, so plausible that he's okay. And she replied, hopefully. I just thought his eyes might not be used to it. So I'm asking you guys, it's a great question. She has a very valid point.
I would side with her on this because whenever he was doing the spacewalk, he had the Iron Man sort of helmet on, the combination Iron Man Star-Lord helmet on. And I would think that would have shaded his eyes. So, yeah.
I think it would have hurt his eyes. I don't think he would have gone blind from it.
Well, blind did, meaning like you can't really open your eyes.
I don't know. I feel like Lauren would know.
So, have you ever been in Kansas where there's this blinding snowstorm and then you go outside like in the light and it really hits you and you can't really open your eyes all the way?
Yeah, but you adapt to it pretty quickly.
Right. But he didn't. There was no adaptation. He was immediately there.
Well, didn't he say there was a blinding light from his transition through the monolith?
Monolith.
So maybe the light from the monolith was so blinding that then when he arrived on Earth, it was less traumatic.
Okay. Listener, if you have another theory, please let us know. And all the ways to contact us at Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D. on Twitter. Facebook. All the ladies have access to the Facebook page. And of course, you can always catch me on email, stargatepioneer@gonnageek.com. With that, we're going to close this one off. Michelle, how do you want to get this one out?
We're going to dine and dash this one out.
I see. Some coming from experience, dine and dash. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much. I don't know why you'd want to dine and dash on Zima, but that happens. Thank you, listener, for downloading this show, for watching us on YouTube, for subscribing to our show on whatever podcatcher you're using. We really appreciate it. We really do, because we do this for you. Otherwise, we would just retreat to our little Marvel group and text back and forth all week long.
Yes, thank you to everyone who interacts with us on Twitter and other social media places. It's really fun. And so just thank you. We love you very much.
Yeah, thank you to everyone that sends us any kind of news or just interacts with us in any way. We really appreciate when you send us voicemails, because we get to hear your voice and we can include those. And we don't have to talk as much on the podcast. So you should definitely call us at 844-THE-BUS-1. That's 844-843-2871.
And until next time, I'm Director SP, which I guess stands for Student Problems.
I'm Agent Haley.
And I'm Consultant Michelle.
See you guys next week as we talk the next episode, the 100th episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Bye.
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 Thank you for listening. If you want to leave us feedback, go to gonnageek.com and you will find all our contact information and other shows. You can also visit legendsofshield.com, where you'll find our complete archive of podcasts. The music heard on this podcast is by Kevin MacLeod, found at incompetech.com, and also artists on pond5.com and audiojungle.net. The opinions heard on this podcast are those of the individual hosts and do not represent Stargate Pioneer Productions, Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D, or Gonna Geek. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D is the property of the Disney Corporation, Marvel Studios, and ABC. No infringement is intended. Legends of S.H.I.E.L.D is copyright 2018.